Hi, this is Volunteer Boss from Connect to Soul, and I'm here with your weekly Prosperity and Soul Wisdom discourse for the week of the 11th of December 2017. Wow, this year is certainly rushing by, is it not? So I hope you're not getting caught up in all the commercial rushing around to wear you out, because it's so easy to do, isn't it? So let's just have a look at what we are going to be discussing this week. And before we do that, just a reminder that if you would like a personal empowerment coaching, please, the links are down below. You can contact me by email or on Facebook or on Instagram or Pinterest or LinkedIn or Twitter. All of those things you'll find links for. The quickest way is through my email, which is also down below. And just another reminder that on the 1st of January, I will be running a workshop, the Achievement Plan workshop, which I do every year, where we do a meditation and we tune into what our soul self, would like to move into. And then we also do a vision board, and it's lots of fun. So if you would like to join us, it will be in Bitten, Victoria, and it'll be on New Year's Day starting at 2 o'clock. So please let me know if you want to join us. It's a great day. So, and any other details down below. The Inspired Manifestation Masterclass begins the 10-week course on the 31st of January, and I can't recommend that enough. The people that did it this year, look, I get so excited because they're making so many life changes and so many amazing things are happening for them, that I just think it's a wonderful program, and I look forward to presenting it again. So 31st of January we go for 9 weeks, and then we have a break because of school holidays, and we have the last one after those school holidays. All of the information is down below, and please just contact me if you need any information. So let's have a look at what we are going to talk about this this week. Whoops. Okay. Well, that didn't take very long, did it? No. I love these cards. If I'm going to talk about prosperity, the Law of Attraction cards are from Esther Hicks, Money and the Law of Attraction. They're very pertinent in that she just gives, Abraham gives a message about what we need to be looking at. And if you are familiar with the Law of Attraction work, then you know that Abraham has a certain trend that he that he wants us to tune into, and so the cards are very similar. So each week really is it's the same kind of trend, but just dressed up in a different way. And this week again, so the card says, my every story is attracting its vibrational match. Love that. So here it is. Okay, my every story is attracting my vibrational match, and it cannot be any other way. We are part of an electromagnetic consciousness that we might like to call the universe. I don't know what you want to call it, but it is the source of all things. It means that whatever vibrational frequency that I am resonating to is all that I can have as my reality, and it's all that I can have as my experience. It cannot be any other way. That is the law of physics. That's the law of this universe that we live in. So, if I am feeling at a low vibration, you know the story. You get up in the morning and you stub your toe, and from there you burn your hand on the hot water. You stick your toothbrush in the wrong thing, and it's not the toothpaste, and it goes on and on and on and on. And because that energy is then just perpetuating itself. That is, I think, why it's so important that before you get out of bed, you set your intent for having the kind of day that you desire, which is a day of joy and love and expansion and prosperity and all goodies that can possibly come to you, right? Louise Hay used to always say, every day only good things happen to me, right? Wayne Guy always said, I choose to feel good. Whatever it is that you can make your mantra, for me, I do all of the above. I believe that I create my reality, and it's a reality of love, joy, and abundance. And so this is how I create my universe and my reality. And each individual person on this earth creates their own experience of reality. Now, when I say that, yes, I can hear it now. People are going to say, no, that isn't true, because people, the starving children, etc., etc. Yes, that's true. They find themselves in a terrible place, and there is such terrible suffering on this earth. However, I believe that those people are in a different state of evolution still, and that suffering is like human suffering is just so deep, isn't it? And I don't know how I've come to that story all of a sudden, but for us, we have the ability to understand ourselves. I think that every one of us, as a human being, our journey is to learn about who we are and how to make the best of ourselves, how to find the strength in ourselves to overcome challenges that we meet. We all meet different types of challenges. Life is a journey of constriction and expansion. And so when we find ourselves in a state of constriction, then that's the time excuse me, when we find ourselves going within and finding that we need to sneeze, and that's not a very good thing when I'm taping this. But you know what? We all need to sneeze, and so I apologize. So wherever you are, whatever challenge you're facing in life, it just senses deep within to find what strength we have still that we haven't found to overcome that particular challenge. So this understanding of vibrational match is what I really want to talk about. And I don't want to get off on a tangent, because I can tend to do that a little bit, as some of you who do know me know that. So what does this card actually say? Because we want to focus on the prosperity part of this discourse. And prosperity to me is not about just having money. We've got so sucked into the money side of things. But I really would like you to understand that prosperity means having abundance, having what your needs met when they need to be met, and feeling secure, I guess. Security comes from feeling prosperous and feeling abundant. So every thought that you think is vibrating as a very personal frequency, and by the powerful law of attraction, the essence of that which is like unto itself is drawn. That thought is now attracting another thought that is its vibrational match. Well, it can't be any other way. When you start to think one thing, then that starts a story of other things of similar nature. I'm much of an observer. When you see me, or for those of you who work with me, you're used to me talking all the time, or teaching, and so that's great. But in my personal life, I am actually quite silent. I spend a lot of time observing, and I listen to people speak, and they start one train of thought and they share it with a friend or with somebody, and then automatically that attracts the same train of thought from the other person, and it builds into this crescendo. And I often think, wow, if only you knew If only you knew that you are creating your next experience. And if they're talking about an experience they're already having, then I know that that experience needs to keep going because the story is being repeated. Now, in that knowledge is a lot of power. It means that you have it within yourself to be able to change the thought and to change the story and to change your perception so that your experiences are going to be different. So what else does this say? And now those combined thoughts are vibrating at a frequency that is higher than the thought that came before, because we feed it, we feed it. And they will now, by the law of attraction, attract another and another and another, until eventually the thoughts will be powerful enough to attract a real life situation and manifestation. Well, of course, this is where this amazing power of affirmations comes in. And again, I want to remind you that an affirmation isn't necessarily positive. Just be say, oh, I do my affirmations. Well, we are affirming 24 hours a day. Every time we repeat a thought, be it negative or positive, we are affirming that thought. The word affirmation does not mean that it is a beneficial or positive one. It just means you're affirming it. In fact, you are confirming it. So make sure that your affirmations are statements that are powerful with the intent of your next experience. That is just so powerful, I kind of got trapped myself just recently. I had a bit of a health crisis, and so I do a lot of self-examination, because if there's anything in my reality that is not the way that I'd like it, I go back to where the source was and go, well, what's the story that I've been running that has created that situation? And if I have not been running a story, then I examine and go, well, what influences have I allowed into my life that are creating this situation? But with my health, I realized that I had got sucked into a diagnosis that my body was not whole, that my body was not healthy. And I was playing that story over and over again in my mind, in the way that I spoke, in the way that I had my conversation with my family, of course, who were constantly worried, and my friends, and asking how was I, and I would explain it, and that story just kept, its momentum going, and I just wasn't getting any better. And then one day I went, what are you talking about? You are creating an experience you don't want, so let's change the story. And I changed the story very quickly, and I made a conscious decision that from that day forward, my body was fine. My body was healthy. My body was strong. And guess what? Here I am, and it's exactly the experience I'm now having. So the power is within us to be able to change whatever experience we're having by going within and looking at how are we feeding that experience with our thoughts, our beliefs, our attitudes, and our stories. And if it's an experience that you love, well, keep feeding it. But if it's an experience that is not beneficial to your growth or your expansion into joy, then change it to what it is. Look at it and go, well, this is an experience I really would prefer not to be having. So now I'm going to go and write out a statement that exactly describes the experience I do choose to have, and make that your affirmation and start affirming that, and make that not just an affirmation, but a decision of fact for you. Very powerful material, really. Every story is attracting its vibrational match. So what I'd really like you to do this week is to have a look at your life and go, where in my life am I not getting the experiences that I really would like to have? And it's something that we need to look at constantly. And then you need to examine, what stories am I running about that? What thoughts am I running about that? And what beliefs am I attached to? And then start writing out exactly what kind of experience you would like to have, and how you can best express that in your stories, in your thoughts, and in your beliefs, and go and do that. It sounds really simple. It isn't always simple, because when you're in the middle of it, it's usually very difficult, but not impossible. So it just depends on how much you want it and how much inner strength and inner beauty that you still need to discover. It's never ending. I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I am amazed still at how often I find myself slipping, but how quickly I am able to get myself back on track. And so that comes with the awareness of how it really works. So check out, what is your level of prosperity, your level of security like in your life? And how can you run different stories to be able to have exactly the experience you like? Shall we do that? Look, I would love some feedback from these little clips, and if you do anything to change how you've been and you're getting, the good results, let me know, because I'd really, really like to know. So make sure that your every story is attracting the vibrational match that you desire. So that is what I have to say about prosperity. So let's have a look at our soul wisdom and how this soul wisdom can support what we've been talking about. I love life. I think life itself is just amazing. And I don't just talk about life as a human being. I just love life itself. I see life in everything. And for me, it is just such a joy to walk in my garden, to look at the variety of plants and the formation of flowers. And it fascinates me to see how this field of consciousness has found such a multitude of ways to express itself, for the purpose of expansion. And so that, for me, is what encourages me to keep on this path and to keep exploring myself and exploring this universe and exploring nature, of course we all very much part of. So let's give us some soul wisdom, shall we? Shall we do that? Okay. Whoa, well, there she comes. Wow. That was lovely. I can sit and chat to you for ages and nothing happens. And then when I say, come on, let's have something, out it pops. Okay. And who we have here is the Lady of Venus. Downloads and understanding. Truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. Wow. And how does that actually relate to what we've been talking about? Well, the truth that's being revealed is really continuously about who we are, that we are part of this universe. For some reason, we have decided to put ourselves separate, but we are an intrinsic part. And what is so wonderful about the human being is that we have the ability to make choices. My plant doesn't have that ability to make a choice. It is what it is. It's a beautiful peace lily. It purifies the air, and once and sometimes twice in the year it sends out flowers, and then it gives us this beauty, and then it goes back to just being the plant, which is equally beautiful, and it goes into that cycle. But it hasn't got the ability to suddenly jump out of the pot, well, I hope it doesn't, and go and create something else, create a different flower for the next season. But we can. we live in this incredible piece of machinery that has so much power within it. We're constantly being encouraged to get a new phone, either a new smartphone or a new iPhone. And I keep saying, why? The one that I have is working fine. But even the one that I have, I'm not using a tenth of what's possible for it. Well, the reason that I don't is because I actually don't need to use all those other applications. But when it comes to me, I'm not even using a tenth of me, and I'm telling you that I work at using a lot more of me than a lot of people, because it is a passion I have. But I know that I'm not even scratching the surface of what's possible for this amazing creature and this energy that lives within me. So I just can't encourage you enough to start to look for that truth, because the downloads of understanding, wow. I wake up in the morning sometimes and there's understanding in my head that I didn't go to sleep with. I don't know where it comes from, but I'm grateful for it. And I just know that every time that I go within and I do more self-exploration, I end up with new truths that are being revealed about the human species, about what's possible for us, and about a constantly expanding universe that becomes available to me. So deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. Whatever you want to translate heaven and the astral realm for me, I just know of one thing, and that is this field of consciousness where all this comes from. And within that field of consciousness, there are beings and entities and expressions at different levels of vibrational frequency. And whenever I have the ability to tune into a certain level of vibrational expression, then I can connect with either whatever I want to call it, heaven. I believe heaven and hell are here on earth and we created within ourselves, but that's my belief. And I think that, I love working with the angelic kingdom. And in my mind, and remember that we all create our own reality, so in my reality, I create the angelic kingdom, as I call it, at a certain vibrational frequency that can respond to me when I come up to that level of frequency. So, we have that capacity within us. So I really want to encourage you to think about who you truly are, to look at the stories you're running about the experiences you're having, and to start creating stories that are going to help you to change and move towards what you would like to experience. What's absolutely wonderful about this whole thing at this time of the year is that I'm always very aware of the way that energy works at a certain time. And because we're all caught up in a rather frenetic, busy period, and everybody wants to do for some reason everything before Christmas, it's a fragmented energy. It's a chaotic energy. You only have to go down the street, and so it's not the best time to find peace and calm in that environment. Certainly within your own home and within your peaceful space, yes, but in that environment, not. However, that environment is radiating an energy that is affecting everything and everyone, and therefore it's not really the best time to start projecting things anew, but it's a fantastic time for assessment and to look at what has happened in 2017, what you would like to change, and then to be ready for that 1st of January and going, let's go, because for some reason the energy all over this planet changes at midnight, December 31st, when we blow off the last year. For me, it's always a time of celebration for the year I've just had. Most people tend to want to blow it off for some reason. But then it's a time of renewal. So prepare of what you want this renewal to be about. Well, that is my story for today, and I am delighted to have spent some time with you, and I hope that you can use some of the prosperity and soul wisdom discourse this week to make your life experience more expansive and more joyful, definitely more soul connected and prosperous. So have a beautiful week, and I will reconnect with you next week when it's only a week before Christmas, and I look forward to it. So please be kind to you, and as you are kind to you, you cannot help but be kind to others. It's a lovely time of the year, not because of what time of the year it is, but we are alive. And if we are alive, then we need to live. So live your week to the highest possibility. Namaste. I see the light in you. I love you. Love yourself more. See you next week.